The state of the modern man is one where he is chucked into a world like a blank slate, starting at the bottom of the barrel in value and hopelessly naive. The onus falls on the individual to level up and learn all the things that make him a top-shelf man after years of grueling hard work. It is the responsibility of the modern man to draw his character on that blank slate, but that requires you to pick up a pencil and try. I see men around me walking around with a blue-pilled mindset about women and dating, programmed into them through Hollywood rom-coms and social media. That utopian world where you are the protagonist of a love story is what most men go out searching for, but are ignorant of the bitter truths about women and dating. You live in a fairy tale at your peril, because reality hits and it hits hard. In the diet of junk media and expectations you are fed on a daily basis, I'm here to give you the proverbial broccoli, bitter, but ultimately for your own good. So pay heed to these 8 toxic truths about the modern world of dating you must come to terms with if you want to succeed. Number 1. Your partner comes with a baggage of past relationships you need to deal with. Remember one thing, in the modern deregulated world of dating, there is no such thing as a special unicorn awaiting you to wife her up. Every girl you meet has had boyfriends and sexual escapades before you, and that is a cold reality you must deal with, even though it grates against your evolutionary imperative to find a woman who is exclusive to you from the start. These relationships will come with baggage, heartbreak, and a string of unresolved issues and unprocessed emotions. When you find her, she brings a host of problems for you to solve, and the same goes from her end. If you look up the phenomenon of alpha widow, you will immediately realize the predicament you are in, especially with girls at the more promiscuous end of the spectrum. Stay prepared and ready to be the punching bag for a lot of the mental trauma she brings, and resist the temptation to do the same to her. This is the only pragmatic way for you to move forward in a relationship. Number 2, you are encountering a world where everyone is glossed up and sugar-coated. Understand that in the world we live in, everyone is incentivized to put on a nice exterior. This incentive has been exacerbated with the advent of social media and dating apps. Underneath a face of makeup and filters is just an average-looking girl with an inflated ego from the free validation she gets. The girl you think you like at a glance is a whole different person when the outer covering comes off. This is the cost of being in a world that puts more emphasis on the exterior than who a person really is. And trust me, you're being forced to do the same. It's like a cynical tragedy of the commons. When everyone around you has put on a face and inflated their wealth, beauty, and lifestyle, you cannot be the one who gets left behind. If you decide to do so, you will be left behind the curve while others reap the benefits of faking themselves. The best course of action is to be aware of this cold fact and to figure out the best ways to win in this dating scene. Number 3, all your relationships will degenerate if you don't put in the effort. I remember reading Jordan Peterson's best-selling book, Beyond Order, and the 10th chapter stood out to me above else. It talks about the necessity of putting in conscious effort into a relationship if you want to keep the spark alive for longer. That is truer now than it has ever been. You cannot live in the delusion that relationships work out and you'll be living in a Disney fairy tale your whole life. When the honeymoon period of the relationship is over, you as the man will have to take the lead and keep the bond between you alive and the spark of attraction burning. I say the man because it is the man's responsibility to lead the relationship. When committed and in love, you don't have the option open of looking anywhere else, so make the best of what you do have both for her and yourself. Number 4, abandon the victim mindset. There are too many people in modern society trying hard to externalize all the causes of their problems. Don't be one of those people. The victim mentality never got anybody laid, especially not you as a man. Life is a chessboard, and you have to make the best move available based on the circumstance. The most impractical thing you could do is sit aside and cry about the cards you were dealt, while wasting important time you could be putting to much better use. Even if you look at it from the woman's perspective, she's not looking for a crybaby to console or a baby to mother. She is looking for an immovable rock she can lean against in times of crisis. So look inward and solve all your problems while retaining your dignity. That is the only game in town for you. Number 5, you lose all the chances you don't take. There was an interesting study I read about a nurse who used to cater to the beds of people who were on the verge of death. In her book, she recounted that people were most regretful of the things they wanted to do but didn't, but were grateful for the chances they took or mistakes they made. Life in dating works the same way. With the advent of modern social media dating apps, approaching girls you look at in real life is dying. Human contact and communication is being virtualized to the degree of being stale and cold. Do not give in to the shifting dynamics and develop the gall to approach the girl you genuinely like. as men have done throughout history. Number 6. The man who doesn't learn about hypergamy and female nature will suffer. To maneuver in the modern dating market, you need to be armed with the tools necessary to navigate the complex maze. For this, you need to put in the conscious effort of studying human nature and biology in order to up your game with women. I have seen men live in denial of the fact that women have a nature and mating strategy that must be taken into account, and those men have been thrown off track by heartbreaks, breakups, and failed relationships. Do not be one of those people who live in a world of their own disconnected from the pragmatic realities of life. Number 7. Cold approach is dead as online dating becomes the order of the day. I can't help but feel that dating is on the same path to becoming digital and virtualized like everything else in our lives in recent times. Dating apps are now the most popular way of meeting a potential match or hooking up for young people. This will inevitably lead to an exacerbation of our tendency for visceral and superficial assessment of potential dating partners, which means an average Joe will find it harder and harder to keep up with the shrinking pool of good-looking men who have the edge in the digitalized dating marketplace. Understand that approaching a girl on the street or at the bar is practically dead, and you need to establish an online persona that is exciting and interesting enough for women to pay attention. Number 8. All reins to hypergamy have come off. Here's the bitter truth. Everything that historically kept our mating instincts under check had disappeared one by one. Institutions of marriage and monogamy, or the practical necessity of material needs used to control our sexual behaviors for all human history. But as we move toward a more deregulated dating marketplace and the welfare state ensures our basic material needs, men and women have become incentivized to let loose their free-for-all sexual nature. This means women's hypergamous nature define the best men as leading to a level of inequality that is paralleled by the income inequality in a free market economy. There are millions of men stacking up at the bottom, while all the spoils go to the top echelon of men. This is a problem that will manifest in a myriad of social problems in a few decades, and I can't help but feel that we are hopelessly unprepared. Male loneliness and virginity is a burgeoning new problem, as they are stuck between not being able to find a homely woman for marriage, nor can they participate in the sexual escapades of Chads and Stacys around them. To help prevent you from becoming stuck between these two extremes, you need to become more aware of the dynamics around you and adjust with the tide of time. That knowledge is precisely what we want to arm you with on this channel. The wisdom we share here comes from decades of experience and will give you a head start in the dating world of today, which is changing too rapidly for most people to keep up. So like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Share this knowledge with your friends to help them accompany you on this path to success. Until next time.